A small rabbit moves through grass while sensing danger. Unaware, a distant observer watches silently from above rocky terrain. On a high cliff, a young boy with a dragon tail stands confidently, surveying the world stretching beyond mountains. He descends the rocky path, moving through cliffs as the land opens, hinting at a world ruled by beasts. Suddenly, the dragon lunges, grabbing him as he falls, its claws gripping tightly while force sends them crashing downward. Nearby, Rabbit senses the disturbance, its eye widening as it turns, alert to the violent movement, unfolding forest shadows. The dragon, Hekidu, confronts the rabbit, declaring intent to eat, while the rabbit struggles in its grasp, clearly terrified. Hekidu opens its jaws wide, explaining its reason, then crushes the rabbit as it declares the capture complete. He devours the rabbit violently, bones cracking as it feeds, while a tiger watches nearby, observing silently. After feeding, Hekidu lifts its head, noticing movement above as the tiger prepares, tension rising between predator beasts. The tiger leaps down toward the dragon, both beasts facing each other, signaling an imminent clash for dominant survival. Hekidu and the tiger face each other closely, both snarling, revealing teeth as tension builds before sudden violent combat begins. Lunges forward, Hekidu leaping through the air toward the tiger, attempting to strike first with speed and force. The tiger counters immediately, biting into Hekidu's body, while Hekidu grabs it, both struggling violently for control mid-air. Hekidu thrashes wildly, lifting the tiger and shaking it, trying to overpower it, as both creatures clash with relentless force. The tiger bites down hard on Hekidu, causing pain as Hekidu reacts. Their battle continuing fiercely with neither yielding ground. Hekidu lies injured, pleading not to be eaten alive, showing fear yet accepting death as he faces the tiger. The tiger pins him down, questioning his youth, observing him closely instead of immediately killing, showing hesitation in action. The tiger remains over Hekidu, but pauses as a new presence approaches, shifting the situation away from immediate danger. Hekidu notices the tiger transformed into a woman, Hakurai, interrupting the encounter and drawing attention from both sides. Hakurai leans close to Hekidu, examining him carefully, asserting quiet control, as he loses consciousness under her presence. The forest remains calm, with birds perched and creatures moving quietly, showing a peaceful environment untouched by recent conflict. Hekidu lies awake on the ground, recovering slowly, while nearby movement suggests someone watching over him from distance. Hakurai in tiger form rests beside Hekidu, no longer attacking, both lying still, indicating a temporary ceasefire after their violent encounter. Hekidu stands and looks toward a cave, then shifts, reacting as his body aches, struggling to regain strength. Hakurai approaches calmly, but Hekidu reacts suddenly, grabbing her, surprising her as tension rises again between them. Hekidu argues angrily with Hakurai, questioning her actions, despite being injured, while she watches him calmly without reacting emotionally. She suddenly moves closer, looming over Hekidu, asserting dominance as he remains seated, unable to resist physically. Hekidu speaks calmly about hunger, showing awareness of his situation, while the tiger observes him carefully without attacking immediately. Hakurai follows behind as Hekidu walks, explaining he should grow before being eaten, shifting their relationship into uneasy cooperation. Hekidu admits weakness, unable to hunt or fly long, while Hakurai questions him, both revealing mutual dependence despite danger. Hakurai stalks a deer silently, eyes fixed, then roars loudly, startling it as fear spreads through the surrounding forest. Hekidu sits alone on rocky ground, observing distant cliffs, appearing thoughtful while the environment remains quiet and unchanged. He lifts his head, deciding not to wait, showing determination as he prepares to act on his own judgment. Hekidu notices approaching movement, turning alert as footsteps draw near, signaling new danger entering his immediate surroundings. A pack of wolves surrounds Hekidu, recognizing him as a dragon, advancing with hunger as the threat against him increases. Wolves surround Hekidu, speaking of his value, believing his heart grants immortality, while he listens without fear or panic. Hekidu attempts to move, but wolves track him easily, claiming they know his scent, preventing escape from their pursuit. Hakurai arrives suddenly with Hekidu above her, growling fiercely, asserting presence as protector and challenging the wolves' claim. Hakurai confronts the wolves directly, declaring Hekidu her prey, while wolves resist, both sides refusing to yield ground. Attacks violently, Hakurei clashing with wolves head-on, overpowering them as the battle erupts into a brutal struggle for dominance. Hakurei fights fiercely, striking wolves one by one, biting and throwing them aside as they attempt to overwhelm her. Hekidu watches from above Hakurei, observing calmly while wolves circle, waiting for an opening to attack again. A wolf leaps forward aggressively, targeting Hakurei, growling as it prepares to land a decisive strike against her. The wolf bites into Hakurei's back, clinging tightly as it attempts to injure her and gain advantage. Hakurei retaliates immediately, grabbing the wolf and biting down hard, overpowering it as others hesitate under her strength. Hakurei continues crushing a wolf, jaws tightening as it struggles, showing dominance while the fight remains violent and uncontrolled. Hekidu stands nearby watching calm and detached, while Hakurei grips another wolf, maintaining control over the ongoing battle. Speaks coldly, Hekidu stating the wolves will die anyway, showing no sympathy as he observes the situation unfolding. A wolf charges again, despite losses, attacking recklessly, while others hesitate, revealing desperation within their group. Hekidu captures the wolf leader, lifting it easily, questioning its role before throwing it down, asserting complete dominance. The wolves retreat quickly, fleeing the battlefield together, abandoning the fight as fear overtakes their earlier confidence and aggression. Hakurei collapses from exhaustion, injured and breathing heavily, while Hekidu remains nearby. Watching her weakened state without concern, struggles to rise, Hakurei glaring with frustration, clearly affected by wounds as her condition worsens after the intense battle. Hekidu mocks her situation, explaining he could escape, while she questions his actions, both exchanging sharp words, despite injuries. Reaches toward Hakurei, Hekidu touching her chin, asserting control calmly, while she remains injured and unable to resist his action. Hekidu lifts Hakurei's chin, speaking calmly, suggesting she accept being eaten by him while she remains injured and tense. Hakurei suddenly pushes him down, reversing their positions, catching Hekidu off guard as control shifts briefly between them. Anger rising, Hakurei threatens to eat him immediately, while Hekidu responds casually, showing no fear despite her aggression. Calls it revenge, Hekidu striking her, causing pain, while Hakurei recoils, weakened further by both injuries and his actions. Hekidu looks away dismissively, while Hakurei regains composure slightly, their tension unresolved, as both remain wary of each other. Floats above Hakurei, Hekidu speaking coldly, insisting emotions mean nothing toward food, while the distant cliffs frame their tense exchange. Hakurei touches her wounded neck, reacting quietly, her expression softening slightly as she listens, uncertain about Hekidu's detached reasoning. Hekidu states his hunger again, questioning purpose beyond eating, while Hakurei watches him, struggling to respond to his simple logic. They stand apart in silence, tension easing slightly, discussing the failed hunt, both acknowledging survival, while their uneasy connection continues forward. Hekidu faces Hakurei calmly, both now in control, their earlier violence gone as they observe each other closely. Without attacking, Hakurei stands beside Hekidu as a bear watches nearby, the forest quiet, suggesting a temporary pause in predator behavior. Hekidu notices a drawing of a tiger on the ground, questioning it, while Hakurei observes his reaction carefully. Hakurei questions Hekidu's actions while he crouches, responding indirectly, showing his inexperience and uncertainty about hunting properly. She criticizes his hunting ability, while Hekidu reacts defensively, their exchange revealing a shift from combat toward understanding. Hekidu speaks while walking ahead, expressing frustration, while Hakurei follows behind, watching him calmly, without reacting to his complaint. He suddenly leaps forward toward the river, while Hakurei remains still, observing his reckless movement without attempting to stop him. Hekidu dives downward into the water, his body cutting through the surface as momentum carries him deeper beneath the river. Water splashes violently as Hekidu disappears below, while Hakurei stands above, concluding calmly that the prey has escaped again. Elsewhere, Hakurei in tiger form bites into a fish, showing her efficiency, contrasting Hekidu's failed attempt at catching prey. Hekidu sits near the river, while Hakurei stands behind, praising his effort as a fish lies nearby on rocks. He shifts attention toward Hakurei, while she continues eating, identifying him as a dragon. Acknowledging his nature calmly, Hekidu recalls seeing another dragon, while birds observe from above, suggesting he is not alone in this world. He grows uneasy at the sounds around him, picking something from the ground, expressing discomfort with the surroundings. As they walk, Hakurei asks about his kind, while Hekidu denies knowing, showing uncertainty about others like himself. Hakurei brings Hekidu into a hollow tree shelter, placing him down carefully as night falls quietly around the forest. Hakidu rests unconscious while Hakurei watches him closely, her expression calm, observing him rather than treating him as prey. Hakurei senses movement outside as a tiger approaches, while an owl questions her unusual decision to spare the dragon. Responds calmly, Hakurei stating Hekidu is still too small, refusing to eat him despite the expectation of predators. Hakurei steps forward firmly, declaring dragons live long lives, showing her decision is based on understanding rather than hunger. The owl insists Hakurei should eat Hekidu, warning that tigers die young, while the moon hangs silently above them. Hekidu sleeps alone on the ground, unaware as Hakurei approaches slowly, her shadow stretching toward his resting body. Hakurei kneels beside Hekidu, watching him closely, her expression uncertain as she studies him instead of attacking immediately. Places a hand on Hekidu gently, Hakurei leaning closer as if deciding his fate, hesitating despite her predator instincts. Hakurei lowers her face toward him, breathing softly, showing restrained hunger while choosing observation instead of consuming her prey. Hekidu lies awake, reacting to Hakurei's presence, noting the sensation while remaining calm, despite their close proximity together. Hakurei sits beside him, stating calmly she will stay, while Hekidu questions trusting a predator so near him. Hekidu challenges her words, expressing doubt, while trying to understand her intentions, showing hesitation toward accepting her explanation. Hakurei criticizes his thinking, pointing out his survival methods, emphasizing his lack of awareness and careless behavior in hunting. Suddenly Hakurei grabs Hekidu firmly, pulling him closer, asserting control physically as their interaction shifts into direct confrontation. Hekidu shouts angrily, while Hakurei responds sternly, asserting dominance. As tension escalates between them during their close confrontation, Hakurei forces Hekidu down, holding him firmly, while he struggles, protesting against her control and expressing pain from restraint. She bites into Hekidu, demonstrating dominance, while he reacts angrily, rejecting her method of control and resisting her authority. Hekidu pulls away, breathing heavily, as Hakurei steps back, stopping the struggle while maintaining control over the situation. Hakurei reflects on his instability, warning him, while Hekidu stands behind her, realizing his body reacts differently in her presence. Hakurei grips Hekidu's tail, staring seriously, maintaining control while her expression shows conflict between instinct and restraint toward him. Hekidu pulls away while speaking uncertainly about dragons, showing hesitation as he questions what he understands about himself. From the tree above, a voice questions Hekidu's intent, while the forest remains still, emphasizing the tension surrounding his answer. Hakurei accepts his uncertainty calmly, while Hekidu reacts to pain, showing his body remains weak, despite his stubborn attitude. Hekidu steps forward confidently, declaring his fate, while Hakurei watches, unsettled by his acceptance of being eaten eventually. Hekidu leans close to Hakurei, speaking seriously while gripping her, asserting himself as tension builds between them again. Hekidu pulls Hakurei closer forcefully, declaring himself not a child, surprising her as she reacts with visible confusion. Hakurei questions his words, calling him baby, while Hekidu stares back, holding his ground, despite her disbelief. Above them, an owl flies under the moon, observing quietly, mocking Hakurei's hesitation as the night deepens around forest. Hakurei moves swiftly through forest, chasing deer, closing distance quickly as prey attempts escape through trees and uneven ground. She catches one deer, pinning it down, biting into its neck, while nearby deer freeze, sensing danger but unable to intervene. Hekidu descends from above, approaching Hakurei as he feeds, watching silently while Hakurei maintains control over captured prey below. After feeding, both beasts rest on ground, bodies lowered, tension reduced as they remain close, sharing space without immediate conflict. Hekidu lies nearby observing, while Hakurei continues eating calmly, their earlier battle replaced by quiet coexistence within forest surroundings. Watches Hakurei eating, Hekidu observing closely as Hakurei explains behavior, remaining focused on prey, while noticing Hekidu's attention nearby. Hekidu reaches out and touches Hakure's fur, commenting calmly, while Hakure reacts immediately, showing discomfort and warning him to stop. Despite warning, Hekidu continues touching, pressing against Hakure's body, observing softness as Hakure's expression shifts, reacting to unfamiliar contact. Hekidu climbs onto Hakure, holding him from above, pointing out vulnerable areas, while Hakure stiffens, uncertain how to respond. Hakure lies on ground, while Hekidu questioned her behavior, their interaction shifting from conflict into strange, uneasy calm. Hakure relaxes under Hekidu's touch, purring softly as Hekidu smiles, realizing physical contact brings unexpected comfort to the fierce tiger. They move together through forest, Hekidu riding Hakure, while Hakure walks steadily, remaining alert as surroundings begin to shift. Hekidu eats casually from remains, while Hakure growls, sensing threat nearby, posture changing as danger approaches their position quickly. Another tiger appears, declaring territory dominance, confronting Hakure directly while Hekidu remains behind, observing situation without immediate interference. The two tigers clash violently, striking each other with force, their battle erupting suddenly as control over territory becomes contested fiercely. Hakure overpowers the rival tiger, slamming it down and biting fiercely, asserting dominance, as the opponent struggles beneath him. Hekidu watches from above, while Hakure continues attacking, claws digging in as the rival attempts to resist but weakens. The rival tiger tries to protest, but Hakure ignores it, biting harder and declaring control, refusing to yield territory. Hakure forces the rival to retreat, standing over it as the defeated tiger lowers itself, showing submission under pressure. After victory, Hakure steps back injured, breathing heavily while Hekidu approaches, the fight ending with dominance clearly established. The tiger earlier praises Hakure's strength, as he admits defeat casually, Hakure sitting relaxed, showing no concern after earlier intense conflict. He suddenly proposes creating offspring, speaking openly, surprising Hakure, whose reaction shows confusion at his unexpected request. He explains his desire comes from wanting her blood, revealing instinctive reasoning, while she listens carefully, evaluating his unusual statement. The tiger continues explaining logically, suggesting reproduction aligns with survival, while the woman considers his words without immediate rejection or agreement. Hakure silently processing his proposal as their interaction ends uncertainly. Hekidu observed them as the tiger began move. Hekidu points at prey, suggesting future use, while Hakure questions him, doubting his seriousness and reacting with visible irritation. Hakure explains her reasoning, stating weakness should not mix with strength, while Hekidu listens, surprised by her firm perspective. The tiger considers her words carefully, realizing strength determines survival, while she agrees calmly, maintaining her composed and logical stance. He decides to leave, promising to grow stronger, while she dismisses him, telling him not to return again. They remain briefly together, then the tiger walks away, leaving Hekidu and Hakure behind, as the moment ends quietly. Hekidu reflects briefly, admitting his mistake, then speaks firmly, telling Hakure to think more carefully before acting next time. Hakure explains her goal, wanting many descendants to connect lives, while Hekidu listens, considering her reasoning without agreeing fully. Hekidu looks away, noticing remains nearby, comparing behavior, then pauses, silently processing difference between their views and instincts. He declares he will not leave blood behind, holding something in hand, ending discussion while Hakure questions his sudden decision. Hekidu walks away into forest, stating his identity as a dragon, leaving Hakure behind, as their paths separate quietly. Hakure asks if Hekidu hates dragons, watching him from behind as he walks away, her expression calm but curious. Hekidu answers honestly, stating he hates himself for being a dragon, revealing internal conflict, while continuing forward without hesitation. He dismisses further concern, eating casually, avoiding deeper explanation, while Hakure watches, unable to fully understand his perspective. Hekidu explains he finds desire for descendants unnecessary, separating himself from such instincts, while maintaining emotional distance from her reasoning. Hakure insists it is necessary for one's kind, but Hekidu rejects it firmly, ending discussion with clear refusal. Hekidu suddenly pins Hakure down, questioning her role as prey, while she remains calm. Facing him without fear, he pulls back, smiling, suggesting continuation, while she rises cautiously, watching him closely, unsure of his true intention. Hekidu returns to Hakure, pushing him playfully onto ground, shifting focus away from woman toward familiar companion again. Hakure relaxes under him, purring softly, while Hekidu observes quietly, their bond showing comfort. After earlier conflicts, they sit together in grass, Hekidu facing forward, while Hakure rests beside him, scene ending in calm companionship silence. The dragon child hatched, its eyes wide and innocent. A massive presence loomed overhead, observing its small frame. Despite its youth, the moment of judgment approached without hesitation or mercy. The elder seized the hatchling, ignoring its cries. Sharp teeth closed in, ending its brief life. The act was swift, instinctive, part of an ancient cycle accepted without resistance. Years later, the boy awoke breathless from the same nightmare. He clutched his throat, haunted by a memory buried in instinct, unable to forget what once happened to him. The boy clung to the tiger's chest, feeling its slow heartbeat. The forest was silent, but his grip tightened. Something unknown flickered behind his eyes as he whispered to himself. The tiger purred gently beside him. He watched the gentle rise and fall of its chest. Slowly, he sat back, uncertain. A realization grew inside him, quiet and firm. Rain fell as he walked away from the cave. His clenched hand trembled. High above, a dragon flew silently through the sky, its shadow vanishing among the cliffs. The dragon hatched, small and unaware, its first breath meeting the gaze of the one who would judge it. Though tiny and fresh to the world, its fate was immediate. He gasped in disbelief, still trembling from what just occurred. Across from him she lay motionless, unaware. As rain fell, he walked out, fists clenched, thoughts spiraling without direction. Perched above the valley, he found the helpless nest. One chick lifted, his hand trembled. The dragon watched. He returned the chick. In silence he stood, the storm hiding his tears. The elf girl awoke on the cold ground, confused. Rain fell around her as she stood up slowly. She looked ahead, uncertain, then began walking toward the sound of water. She wandered into the forest, rain soaking her skin. With each step, her expression shifted. A tiger approached from the shadows. She clenched her jaw, recognizing the creature's familiar scent. The tiger padded closer, slow and silent. She remained still, eyes fixed forward. As it sat facing the waterfall, tension lingered between them, unspoken history hanging heavily in the rain. The woman awoke alone under falling rain, her body heavy with fatigue. Rising slowly, she scanned the silent valley, then stepped forward, her eyes tracking something distant beneath the stormy sky. She walked through the rain, her gaze fixed on the cliffs. Nearby, a tiger moved cautiously, muscles tense. Her expression shifted, revealing sharp fangs and narrowed eyes as instinct resurfaced. The tiger pressed forward, alert to movement. A wild animal challenged him, teeth bared. They faced each other briefly, but neither attacked. Far above, she stood silently, watching from the peak. She awoke beneath the rain, unsure where she was. Rising slowly, she stepped into the night. Something stirred nearby. In the shadows, a tiger watched silently, moving toward her position. The tiger moved forward cautiously, rain muffling each step. It halted at a creature's warning. They exchanged signals. Unthreatened, the tiger pressed on. From above, she approached, watching his path closely. The boy confronted her with quiet anger, eyes sharp. He blamed her, teased her, then vanished again. The tiger intervened, lifting him. He complained, but followed. Their odd bond remained intact. She awakened to the sound of rainfall, disoriented but alert. Rising slowly, she scanned the empty shore. Her steps led her toward the forest, following a scent faint but familiar. Rain drenched her as she entered the woods. The tiger stalked silently nearby, cautious. Her scent lingered. A mustelid creature emerged from a hollow, prepared to defend its hidden den. The tiger paused, facing the mustelid. No hostility showed, just intent. They exchanged words, but it was the elf's steps in the distance that pulled the tiger away once again. In heavy rain, the tiger moved silently through the forest. Something caught his attention, a small animal alert and defensive. They confronted each other cautiously, tension rising with every step taken. The tiger held its ground while the small creature hissed. After a quiet exchange, the tiger turned away. It wasn't hunting, only seeking something beyond. A figure watched from above. The tiger climbed the cliffs with purpose. A woman appeared, calm and composed. They gazed across the mountains. What they sought lay ahead, uncertain, distant, but neither showed fear of it. As the cold crept in, the elf nestled beside the tiger. She gently embraced him, calming his nerves. The tiger kept watch, alert in the cave's still silence. Above the peaks, a lone bird soared through the stormy sky. Its sharp gaze scanned the cliffs, wings slicing the wind, headed toward a forgotten summit cloaked in shadows. The ancient dragon stirred, awakened by the eagle's arrival. Eyes glowing with intent, it sensed change. Though thought extinct, it now faced a world unaware of the storm it heralded. The tiger approached calmly, met by another who greeted with familiarity. Their moment was disrupted by suspicion from afar, questioning loyalty. Tension remained hidden under soft gestures and quiet understanding. Suddenly, trust vanished as instincts clashed. One pounced, the other countered. Their fierce struggle disturbed the quiet waters. A tail moved sharply, a defensive strike, landing firm against striped flesh. The boy reappeared, steady and unshaken. He confronted the scene, asserting control with boldness. Others watched, uncertain. He demanded purpose, unwilling to allow intrusion without clarity. The mood shifted again. News of a female dragon spreads through gossip, stirring suspicion. The boy listens carefully, eyes alert, questioning the truth. Despite doubts, the mention of horns and whiskers piques his interest. The dragon's image flashes in his thoughts: 4 horns, 4 whiskers. He grabs her hand with urgency, suggesting escape. Though unsure of the exact location, he points southeast, compelled by instinct. He pleads for them to flee to safety, far from danger. She hesitates, bound by duty to her territory. The boy insists roaming is natural, and staying could be riskier. The elf girl noticed the tigers reuniting. One tiger showed affection while another approached. A misunderstanding lingered, stirring tension between them. Tail flicks and lowered ears hinted at something more. The playful gestures escalated into a sudden fight. A tail intervened, breaking the clash. Shock replaced aggression. Someone unexpected had returned, disrupting the mood and resetting their focus on a new concern. The dragon boy confronted the others, his stance firm. They discussed intentions and territory. Tension settled. He asserted control, challenging the male elf's claim, seeking fairness through a direct confrontation. The elf watched silently as the 2 tigers reunited. One approached with a playful nuzzle, rubbing affectionately. Despite their rough history, their bond remained, hinting at trust built through battles and time. The gentle moment quickly turned into chaos as one tiger launched an attack. Tails swiped, claws clashed, and dominance flared. But before a victor could rise, a serpentine force suddenly intervened. The dragon boy emerged, calm yet commanding. He took control of the scene, scolding them as if it were a game. The others stepped back, uncertain, as he reclaimed his place. Rumors spread of a powerful female dragon in the southeastern region. Though skeptical, the young dragon considers investigating. Unseen by others, concern quietly builds within his expression as curiosity takes root. The dragon's thoughts turn to the creature's appearance: 4 horns, long whiskers. Questions arise about its exact location. Despite uncertainty, he resolves to search, quietly grasping his companion's wrist for support. He urges her to flee the area, fearing danger. She hesitates, bound by territory and duty. Yet his insistence grows. To him, escape is safer than remaining where threats linger. The white-haired man confronts the pair with a firm claim. The dragonkin grabs the white tiger girl's hand and pulls her away. But he's stopped. The other man refuses to give up. He declares his intent to claim the tiger girl as a mate. The dragonkin proposes a challenge. She agrees. The condition is set: climb the tall peak, winner takes their own path. They stand before the towering rock. The dragonkin bans flying to keep it fair. The match begins. The tiger leaps ahead confidently, unaware the dragonkin never planned to climb at all. The dragon agreed not to fly. The match was set to climb the peak. Confidence swelled in the tiger, unaware the dragon had no intention of playing fair from the start. As the tiger launched into action, it scaled the cliff with overwhelming speed. Pride guided its climb, unaware of the dragon's disinterest and quiet strategy brewing in the background. The tiger looked back, expecting victory, but the dragon hovered nearby, effortlessly observing. Suspicion grew as the tiger realized its opponent was never truly competing by the same rules. The great serpent coiled tightly around Hekadu, its eyes gleaming with eerie warmth. Old ties resurfaced. A reunion long awaited, one of purpose, of memory, and of something yet unresolved. Beneath the crashing waterfall, the giant serpent coiled tightly around the boy. Despite his protests, the snake observed him closely, amused by his growth and presence after a long absence. The serpent tightened its grip, determined not to lose him again. From the shadows, a growl echoed. The tiger returned, its eyes locked on the coils that restrained its target. The tiger advanced steadily, unfazed by rocky terrain. It slipped but quickly regained footing, lunging at the serpent. Yet, with precise force, the snake collapsed it mid-strike, still unshaken. Trapped in the coils of the enormous serpent, the boy remained calm as tension built. The tiger closed in, growling lowly, unwilling to abandon him. The serpent smiled, unbothered by the threat. The serpent's grip tightened with intention, confident its poison was already working. The girl staggered, struggling to remain upright. The boy watched, uncertain, as her movements became slower and unsteady. Her body collapsed onto the rocky ground, completely still. The serpent turned toward its captive with satisfaction. The boy's expression hardened as the predator offered a meal, unaware of what he'd decide. The dragon slammed its claws onto the serpent's head, halting the attack. Towering over the scene, it demanded a cure. Beneath them, the girl lay motionless, poisoned and unmoving. The serpent resisted, questioning the dragon's intentions. Despite the tiger's betrayal, the dragon sought healing. Its gaze sharpened, the serpent's eyes narrowed, puzzled by the dragon's strange resolve and loyalty. As the girl lay collapsed, the dragon circled her protectively. With teeth bared, it turned to the serpent, demanding responsibility. The atmosphere tightened, truth and consequence balancing on their words. The snake held the boy tightly as they exchanged tense familiarity. A tiger approached, low and growling, its intent clear. The snake, poised and unreadable, prepared for a swift response. The tiger girl collapsed, poisoned and weak. The boy, still bound, watched helplessly. As her strength faded, the snake prepared for the end. But something in the boy's gaze halted him. A dragon descended, silencing the snake's confidence. The boy refused to accept her fate and pleaded with resolve. Against all logic, he offered hope. The snake paused, torn between instinct and change. Enkidu revealed the truth about the boy's immunity. His blood resisted the dragon's venom. The revelation stirred old memories, and the dragon finally acknowledged that the boy had something rare within him. As the debate intensified, the dragon reluctantly admitted there might be a slim chance. The boy pleaded, urgency rising. With no alternatives, the dragon prepared itself, choosing to act rather than delay. The dragon tore into its own flesh, offering blood as medicine. The boy cradled the elf girl, letting her sip. Her breath softened, fragile hope ignited in their desperate attempt to save her. The dragon confronted the serpent, demanding a cure for the fallen tiger. Though injured and wary, the tiger lay beneath them unconscious. The dragon's desperation grew, his gaze unwavering and fierce. The truth unfolded: there was no known cure for such corruption. Yet the boy refused to accept it. Holding her tightly, he begged for help. Something within him refused to let go. With resolve, the boy offered his own blood. He pressed his lips to hers, transferring the cure. Slowly her breathing steadied. Hope flickered in his heart as she stirred slightly. He knelt beside her, watching for signs. The serpent observed in silence. With calm precision, he shared his blood, hoping it would counteract the venom now threatening her weakened, still frame. Though her body remained unmoving, he did not relent. The snake advised patience. He stepped away, uncertain of the outcome, as the fading daylight gave way to the quiet of night. The stars appeared above the waterfall. The wolf's cry echoed across the cliffs. He stood silently, wondering if the antidote worked, waiting for her breath to return before dawn arrived. The boy knelt by her motionless body, blood trailing from her arm. With steady focus, he cleansed the wound, hoping to remove the toxin. Her breathing remained faint, her expression calm. A giant serpent observed silently as the boy transferred the antidote. He wiped his arm, uncertain if it worked. Night settled, a wolf howled, and the serpent waited for signs of recovery. The serpent, now in human form, emerged and questioned the boy's resolve. He warned her sternly if harm came to the tiger, there would be consequences. The serpent smiled, watching him leave. The tiger girl lay unconscious near the water's edge. A serpent's tongue tested her skin. Slowly, her fingers twitched, her eyes opened faintly, and her body began to respond again. As the serpent watched, the tiger's form returned. Her body leapt toward it with bared fangs. She demanded answers, her voice strong. The serpent's smirk showed its plan had succeeded. Horrified, the tiger learned the dragon had been eaten. Her stance turned tense. She stepped forward, eyes locked on the serpent, claws ready. She prepared to confront what could not be forgiven. The dragon's blood still clung to her lips as she knelt over the fallen tiger. A serpent watched silently as her breath returned, the forest still but charged with tension. Night deepened as the dragon's companion stood guard, ignoring the serpent's taunts. He threatened vengeance if harm came. The serpent accepted the warning with a smile, veiling its intentions beneath calm. Alone beneath the waterfall, the dragon left the tiger in the serpent's care. His parting words sharp with promise, he vanished into the woods, leaving behind trust and hidden fury. The snake woman recalled finding the dragon, once small and fragile. She raised him not out of kindness but curiosity, seeing potential beyond prey. Her gaze met the tigress's, unsettling silence followed. The snake woman leaned closer, speaking with implication. The tigress, unsure, reflected on her own motives. The snake's claim of shared desires echoed in her mind, stirring doubt. Silence lingered between them. High above, a bird flew past cliffs as the two women sat apart. The snake spoke confidently of the dragon's pride. The tigress listened, her heart uncertain, her thoughts unresolved. The snake woman shared her observations about the dragon's behavior, explaining how his tail revealed his moods. The tiger girl listened carefully, trying to understand the nuances of his temperament. Without warning, the dragon appeared, landing with a thud and presenting game he hunted. Before words could form, he leapt, wrapping his arms tightly around the tiger girl, stunning her. The dragon's eyes held urgency as he stood upright. Without hesitation, he instructed her to move. She nodded, standing beside him, both ready to leave while the snake woman watched. She studied the serpent's tail, learning to read his moods through each motion. Curiosity turned to tension as he suddenly launched himself at her, shielding her from an unseen danger. The dragon boy rose, bruised but steady, urging her forward. Despite protest, she followed him. The mermaid watched in silence, sensing something deeper unfolding beneath their strained exchanges and persistence. Exhaustion slowed him, but stubbornness pushed him ahead. She scolded, then paused, realizing he'd hunted all night. The dragon, coiled and satisfied, gave a glance that revealed silent acknowledgement. She sat by the resting boy, uncertain of his feelings. Questions about attachment surfaced, but her silence hinted at deeper care. The serpent woman watched knowingly, reading what remained unsaid. Despite her confusion, she stayed close. The dragon's presence puzzled her, yet comforted the boy. Their bond, though wordless, was growing. The serpent observed quietly, sensing a shift in purpose. She pondered the dragon's prideful history, understanding why they once devoured each other. Yet watching him sleep peacefully, she wondered if real change was possible through a single, unlikely connection. The dragons mocked those below, refusing others the skies. A rumor spread, beasts believed the lie, turning against dragons. Taste proved truth. One by one, dragons fell to the ground's hunger. Isolated in the sky, dragons devoured each other. Pride kept them from returning. Banished and without heirs, their extinction arrived. Dragonkind vanished, leaving only silence in the soaring peaks they once ruled. She watched him twist in restless sleep. The story ended, but his struggle continued. Nightmares lingered, shaped by history's cruelty. Her gaze softened. He trembled, still trapped in ancient grief. Exhausted, the boy collapses after resisting both escape and concern. The tiger and others watch silently. His strength fades, but something in their eyes suggests more than indifference, something closer to recognition. Night brings memories. As he dreams, the elder serpent recounts dragonkind's downfall, prideful, consumed by false myths, and betrayed by beasts they scorned. Their extinction echoes quietly across the mountains and sky. As dawn rises, the boy wakes, held protectively by the tiger. With renewed energy, he flies upward. The others follow, tension lingering, yet something has begun to shift between them all. As she was carried through the skies, the girl marveled at the vast land beneath. Beside her, the dragon glided silently, sharing a view once lost to his kind. Together, they walked into the open world. The boy floated gently while she stepped firmly, tails swaying in rhythm. The dragon disappeared above, leaving them alone in a boundless new chapter. The dragon soared through the sky, guided by the circling birds. Its eyes narrowed as the cliff's edge neared. Below, an ancient presence awaited, hidden, silent, and long undisturbed. She stood tall on the dragon's back, surveying the gorge. The descent was slow but steady. Her gaze locked on the shadowed chasm, knowing this journey was deeply personal. She approached the tree cautiously, sensing movement. A serpent watched from the shadows. She smiled slightly, knowing this confrontation was inevitable, and stepped closer without hesitation toward the hollow's mouth. The dragon followed the eagle's lead, eyes scanning the gorge below. With cautious grace, it descended, its presence silent, seeking the cave spoken of in legends and whispers. The girl stood confidently atop the dragon's head, gaze fixed forward. She had come to find answers, her tail curled in resolve, and the cave's looming shadow did not faze her. From the darkness, a serpent watched her approach. She stepped carefully, observant and quiet. The cave seemed still, but instinct told her she was not alone in this place. A dragon confirms the location with its companion bird. The dragon ascends gracefully above a vast canyon, surveying the landscape below as the bird circles protectively around them. A determined young girl stands confidently on the dragon's back, gazing into the distance. The dragon silently waits, its long tail curling behind, signaling the start of a significant journey together. A large snake eyes its prey cautiously from the shadows. Suddenly, the snake strikes with swift precision, aiming to catch what has drawn its attention into the hidden depths of the forest. The dragon twisted in pain, body crushed by the serpent's hold. Claws flailed, seeking escape. With a final push, it struck upward, piercing the enemy's mouth, blood erupting in defiance. The serpent screamed, its fangs dripping, rage overtaking fear. But the dragon countered midair, forcing distance. One last blow crushed the serpent's head. It collapsed, twitching, defeated. The forest fell silent. Later, the dragon begged for more food, tail twitching. The tiger watched, unimpressed. With a flick, she silenced him. Lessons were simple: survive, share, and never cry for more. The serpent challenged him, amused and confident. The young dragon struck, teeth clamped tightly, but it wasn't enough. The serpent smiled, unbothered. Power alone would not decide this fight. Ash scattered across the soil. The dragon soared skyward, leaving the ruined body behind. Crows watched from a distance. Above, the wind cooled his bruises. He had survived again. They arrived at a waterfall deep in the cliffs. The dragon admired the calm waters, imagining peace. "Let's stay here," he said. It wasn't a battlefield. It felt like home. In a cavern behind the falls, two cloaked watchers whispered plans. The younger one longed to meet the dragon again. His mentor listened in silence, wary of what reunion might bring. He recalled the past, their shared scars, brief peace. He hoped for friendship again, survivors bound by fate. The woman beside him saw through it, but she offered her quiet approval. Two birds took flight, the hunt begun. Across distant cliffs, the tiger and dragon wandered peacefully. Neither knew eyes had turned toward them. But the forest no longer held silence. High on the cliff's edge, the dragon rested beside the tiger. The winds were quiet. Below them, the world shifted. They didn't know others had already begun to move. A leopard ran across the field, carrying a fox cub gently in its jaws. Another leopard followed close. They weren't hunting prey, they were escaping something far worse behind them. The fox fell to the ground as chaos erupted. The mother turned to defend, teeth bared. The cub cried out and ran. The roar that followed drowned out everything. The leopard shielded the fox cub. Another leopard confronted her, confused and angry. Why protect it? They were different. She stood firm, choosing care over instinct, despite the challenge. With a snarl, she claimed the fox as her own. The attacker lunged. She covered the cub with her body. Fangs clashed. She bit back, refusing to surrender her child. Before another blow landed, the tiger crashed in. He struck hard, scattering the attacker. The fox trembled beside the wounded leopard. She had risked everything. Now someone else stood guard. The leopard refused to back down. The tiger stood firm. Words failed. Claws flew. The fight turned wild, their bodies clashing in dust and growls. Nothing peaceful remained between them. Blood stained the grass. The leopard lashed out desperately, biting, slashing, dragging the tiger back. Eyes locked, the tiger hesitated. The leopard panted, injured but determined. She wasn't finished yet. The cub approached quietly. But danger surged again. The tiger charged. The leopard snatched the cub and fled, dodging a blow. Together they escaped into the wild, chased by fading roars. A sudden strike knocked the leopard aside. The boy descended calmly, the cub safe in his arms. The leopard crashed to the ground, stunned, her strength fading after the struggle. The tiger roared, claiming the ground. The dragon followed, voice cold. One more threat, and limbs would be taken. The warning was clear. No one would harm the fox again. The leopard backed away. Peace returned. Another elf scolded the boy, tired of his meddling. He argued, holding the cub tight. Behind them, the leopard walked alone into the hills. Under the shade of a tree, the leopard rested. The fox nuzzled close, comforted. They weren't the same, but warmth passed between them. Peace, for now, had returned. The leopard remembered her loss. Her cubs were gone, taken by a rival. Species didn't matter. Survival did. The fox wasn't hers by blood, but she chose him anyway. She found him beside his dead mother, silent and still. She couldn't walk away. He was different, but she stayed. That choice, against nature, had rewritten both their lives. The leopard knew the truth: this fox needed her. Just for now, that was enough. From afar, the tiger and boy watched. For now, they all belonged somewhere together. Night fell. In the quiet, the leopard rested in the trees, the cub safe beside her. But something stirred. She rose alert. Another presence had entered the darkened cliffs. She climbed higher, and there they stood. The tiger and dragon waited, unmoving. She approached carefully, uncertain. No battle call came. only silence. A new path might be opening. The dragon's voice echoed, a final warning. But the leopard refused to yield. She attacked, only to be thrown down again. Growling, wounded, she fled into the night, pride in shreds. Silence returned. The boy and tiger watched the stars. Nothing needed saying. Beside them, the world stretched on harsh, quiet, endless. They had fought, endured, and now waited for what came next. She joined him quietly, resting beside him without a word. They looked ahead, no fight, no mission, just the sky above. For now, they stayed. Just for the moment, they were whole. The leopard lunged, but a fierce slap threw him down. The boy descended calmly, holding the fox. A powerful dragon slammed the leopard, leaving him wounded and retreating with a heavy groan. A massive tiger issued a warning, voice firm and fangs bared. The dragon added a chilling threat. Together they stood before the defeated leopard, declaring protection over the boy and fox. The leopard left silently. The boy sat, still holding the fox. A woman scolded his interference. He argued back, their words tense but honest. Their eyes met, unresolved feelings behind sharp tones. Snowstorm swept the valley as the tiger trudged through frost-covered woods. The boy, weak and weary, leaned on its back. The tiger paused, ears alert, shelter near but danger closer. Inside the frozen cave, the tiger rested while the boy spoke. Despite exhaustion, the tiger turned away. It must find food. The boy reached out, worried. Hunger didn't wait. The boy insisted on a smaller prey. A cloaked woman appeared, questioning the tiger's unique stripes. Her curiosity hinted at recognition. She stepped closer, snow crunching softly beneath her feet. The boy clung to the tiger's back as the blizzard thickened. The beast moved with purpose, its breath steaming. The forest loomed cold, but they had no choice. Survival demanded motion. Reaching a cave, the tiger carved shelter in the rock. The boy curled up, shivering. The tiger departed silently. Hunger called. The boy watched, uncertain, yet trusting the silent promise of return. Camouflaged in snow, the tiger crept with patience. Watching the herd, it waited. Muscles tensed, breath still, it pounced. A single strike, clean and swift. Tonight they would eat and endure again. The white tiger silently claimed its prey, blood steaming against snow. Dragging the body deeper into the forest, it paused briefly, alert. A bear had noticed. Danger now shadowed its victory. Panting with fury, the bear charged through snow, claws tearing earth. The tiger sensed it, muscles tensing. Their eyes met. In a sudden clash, fang met claw, survival igniting them both. The tiger stood its ground, wounded but fierce. The bear roared, towering in rage. Snow sprayed as they collided again, power and pain echoing. Neither predator yielded in this brutal contest. Snow fell thickly as the tiger carried the boy across the mountain forest. Weakened by the cold, he clung tightly, trusting the beast to lead him somewhere safe. Inside the cave, the boy urged the tiger to rest while he searched for food. Concerned, he questioned the tiger's strength, unaware that a lesson in survival awaited them outside. She appeared through the snow, curious and cautious. Her gaze fixed on the white tiger, wondering why he differed from the others. Silent understanding passed as she approached with quiet steps. Snowfall thickens as the boy collapses on the tiger's back. The beast trudges forward, silent but alert. Shelter is near, but warmth and safety are still far from guaranteed. Inside the cave, the tiger prepares to leave. The boy resists, holding its paw. The tiger promises food. Still, the boy wonders, why is it unlike any other tiger? Snow blankets the forest as the girl teaches patience. Stalking quietly, the tiger pounces on a yak. But danger brews watching eyes. Heavy breath, a rival rises from the woods. The tiger marched through the snowstorm, carrying the boy on its back. Cold bit into them both, but the tiger pressed forward. The boy leaned closer, slowly losing consciousness. They found shelter in a mountain cave. The boy ordered the tiger to wait, declaring he'd find food. Though worried, he stepped out alone, determined to support his companion. He stared at the forest, conflicted. Her voice echoed from memory, reminding him to stay cautious, to survive. Their white coats gave them cover, but hunting still demanded patience and resolve. Hakure walked silently through the snow-covered forest. His white cloak blended into the landscape. Watching from behind a tree, he spotted the wild oxen, unaware of the silent predator stalking them. The tiger moved low, its body flat against the ground. Hidden by the snow, it waited. At the perfect moment, it lunged, sinking claws into its unsuspecting prey's neck. The tiger dragged its kill through the forest while birds and beasts watched. From a distance, Hakure observed everything. A lesson in patience, precision, and the balance of survival. The bear demanded dragon meat. its eyes wild with hunger. The boy stared unflinching. Without a word, a dragon appeared from the trees, answering a silent challenge no one expected. The dragon vanished into the forest shadows. The elf wrapped her arms around the boy, sensing the unspoken weight behind his anger. Snow fell silently, masking the trail of questions. Welcomed by strange monkeys and a robed elder, the tiger paused. The elder spoke of long life and hidden truths. The boy, uncertain but willing, agreed to hear them out. The dragon boy faced the bear, demanding dragon meat. Chaos erupted as beasts clashed. Amid the threat, he remained calm, determined to protect what mattered more than any survival rule. His companion. Sheltered in the forest, the elf comforted the dragon child. His thoughts lingered on mortality and meaning. He sought not food or safety, but a truth beyond survival's shallow terms. A wise elder greeted them warmly, offering rest, food, and counsel. Yet the boy, firm in purpose, declined the comforts. His journey wasn't for ease but to change fate itself. The bear demanded dragon meat, hunger sharp in its eyes. As threats rose, the dragon lunged, forcing the boy to react. Calmly he stood, calculating his move without hesitation. The dragon retreated into the woods, wary but alert. The boy remained nestled against the cloaked woman, his expression hardening. He sought answers, not just protection, determined to understand everything. Amid a crowd of monkeys, an elder emerged, surprised by the dragon's presence. Offering hospitality, he welcomed them warmly. The boy, riding the tiger, nodded cautiously, hiding his deeper purpose. The dragon boy faced a beast demanding dragon meat. Calm and unfazed, he watched as the real dragon responded fiercely. The confrontation marked the beginning of a deeper journey. After the clash, he rested in the snow, embraced by the warm tiger. He sought answers about life's length, but the elder's hospitality revealed only more veiled riddles. Alone in warmth, his body grew hot. The tigress leaned close, eyes determined. She longed for something deeper. With trembling breath, she whispered a desire not of love but hunger. The bear demanded dragon meat, eyes wild with craving. As others preached survival, it roared for more. The dragon leapt forward, defiant. The boy watched, unmoved, calculating his next move. Snow fell quietly as the dragon slipped through the forest. The boy rested in the woman's arms, brooding. Her warmth wrapped him, but his thoughts spiraled. He still sought answers. The elder greeted them with a smile, and curious monkeys peered from trees. He spoke of long life, dragons, and wisdom. The boy atop the tiger listened. Hesitation flickered in his eyes. The dragon boy sought a way to extend a life not his own. The elder, unmoved, spoke of fate. The tiger rested close, quiet, as truth outweighed fleeting hopes. They rested in warmth, unaware of treachery. She moved close, her words calm but eyes fixed. He lay stunned as her hand reached, intent and steady. She wanted his heart. Pain struck as betrayal revealed itself. Bound and bleeding, he faced the elder's twisted theory. But the dragon roared, fierce and desperate. Death circled, but rescue flew in swift, unyielding. The stranger landed firm, sharp eyes set on the wounded boy. Without hesitation, she declared her claim. The elder lay defeated. The dragon boy, bleeding but alive, was finally safe. The winged warrior stood tall beside the injured dragon, ignoring the monkey's snarls. Without hesitation, she prepared to move. But the troop lunged, furious and protective, ready to stop her. She struck quickly, sharp wings cutting through attackers. One monkey screamed, another fell. Behind her, the old man rose with a dagger, but her senses caught him before he attacked. Spinning midair, her kick slammed into the old man's chest. He stumbled, weapon flying. He tried to flee, but she followed relentlessly. Her eyes never left his retreating back. The winged warrior confronted the monkeys, standing between them and the boy. Angered, the alpha rushed forward, bearing fangs. With precise movement, the warrior struck, toppling the first attacker swiftly. The fight escalated. One monkey lunged. The warrior responded midair with a crushing blow. The old captor reawakened, blade in hand, but the warrior sensed it twisting just in time. A second winged warrior arrived, ending the elder's resistance. Together they disabled the captors. As the dragon boy was freed, the warriors secured him, took flight, and escaped into darkness. The winged warrior arrived, driving back the captors with swift, ruthless strikes. The young dragon, bound and dazed, lay defenseless. The monkeys fought back, refusing to surrender their prize. More enemies emerged, but the warrior moved with sharp precision, overwhelming them with kicks and dives. Reinforcements joined. In moments the battlefield cleared. They secured the dragon and prepared escape. As dawn broke, the child hung midair in panic, yelling to be released. The rescuers flew steadily. He realized he couldn't fly. Below, the forest faded. Their journey had begun. The winged warrior stood before the monkeys, declaring their intent. The unconscious dragon boy lay still, rope-bound. Snow fell softly as tension swelled. The air shifted. A fight was inevitable. The monkeys lunged in fury. The warrior met them with swift, brutal strikes. Roars echoed. One after another fell. Behind, the boy watched, stunned. Another fighter entered the fray. Together they defeated the last of the enemies. Without pause, they seized the boy and soared into the sky. Snow-covered cliffs faded below. The escape had finally begun. Surrounded by hostile beasts, the winged warrior stood unfazed. The young dragon boy lay bound, helpless. As the apes lunged, the warrior's counterattack was swift and brutal, scattering enemies without hesitation. The leader of the apes emerged, confident and fierce, but the winged warrior met him head-on, knocking him back with a precise blow, ending the assault in a heartbeat. Victorious, the second warrior arrived, calm and composed. With one motion, they cut the rope binding the dragon boy, silencing the last ape. Their journey was far from over yet. Two cloaked warriors arrived as beasts attacked. Without hesitation, they struck the enemy down. One captured the boy. The monkey collapsed. The hunters came not to kill but to protect. The boy resisted, confused and angry, but their mission continued. While he struggled, they flew fast and firm. He questioned his own nature, unaware of how much he'd soon change. They landed on a cliff. The boy demanded truth. They offered none, only guidance to their master. For now, he would walk beside them, unwilling, but not entirely against it. Carried by giant birds, the dragon child thrashed wildly, struggling against the wind and height. One bird lost grip, and he plummeted through the air, fear and confusion gripping his chest. Another bird caught him mid-fall, barely saving him. Suspended again, he wondered why he couldn't fly. He glimpsed land approaching. When they landed, the strangers offered words, not harm. Curious and cautious, he followed them. They spoke of someone like him, another dragon. The idea felt unreal. Torn between hate and hope, he decided to go and find the truth. The tiger raged with grief, demanding answers. The monkey trembled, crushed beneath his fury. Nearby, two figures wandered through snow, one desperate to leave the past, the other reluctant to follow. She paused, conflicted by her decision. The cheerful boy offered help, sensing her hesitation. Her silence weighed heavily. Hope flickered as he promised to aid her search for the dragon. Wolves lunged from the trees, bearing fangs. The dragon boy fled, breath ragged. A root caught his foot. He fell, heart pounding, as claws and snarls closed in fast. Wolves encircled the dragon boy. He clenched his fists, tail braced. Each breath was heavy. Their eyes locked onto him, predators sizing prey. He stood firm, despite the growing threat around him. The wolves lunged. He fought back with tail and claws, but a misstep betrayed him. Just before the final bite landed, talons grabbed him, lifting him high into the sky. Rescued, he rested on the branch, battered but alive. The birdman appeared again, aloof and unreadable. Their goals clashed, one sought kin, the other freedom. Confusion replaced certainty between them. The tiger, filled with rage, demanded answers from a trembling figure. In the snowy forest, she dismissed hope. The boy tried to reach her, offering help she refused to accept. The boy noticed her hesitation and quickly promised his aid. Her silence lingered as uncertainty clouded her thoughts. He smiled, determined to stay, unaware of the danger stalking ahead. Wolves lunged from the trees. The boy fought back with his tail, holding his ground. Surrounded, outmatched, he tripped. Fangs neared, and then a shadow descended to lift him skyward. The tiger's rage burst forth, demanding answers. Amid snowy trees, she walked away, emotion buried deep. A boy followed, cheerful but uncertain, reaching out with hope to ease her sorrow. His offer wavered, her silence growing heavy. Unsure, she hesitated. He scrambled to help, eager to prove his worth. But deep in the woods, beasts hunted danger closing in fast. Surrounded by wolves, he fought fiercely with a tail not his own. One lunged, he braced, but before jaws closed, wings struck. Lifted skyward, he vanished, fate twisted in talons. The tiger's fury echoed through the forest. A young woman walked away, her eyes cold. The boy, desperate yet hopeful, reached out to her, offering a new purpose to follow. The woman paused, torn between cold logic and buried longing. The boy's promise to help struck a nerve. She didn't answer, but her eyes softened. The journey had just begun. Wolves attacked without warning. The boy, cornered and wounded, fought with everything he had. Just as defeat neared, a scaly tail dragged him from danger into the sky, into uncertainty. Surrounded by wolves, the boy stands firm, tail coiled in readiness. The wolves strategize, aiming for his body, wary of the tail's strength. He breathes hard, refusing to yield. He battles with desperation, tail lashing through the pack. A massive paw strikes. A sharp cry echoes. Suddenly, talons grab him. He's lifted into the sky, the wolves howling in defeat. Above the trees, the eagle delivers him to a cloaked figure. The boy resists meeting the dragon they mention. Confused, he learns neither stranger intends to reunite them yet. He wanted to leave, but fear and obligation chained him. The one above offered no answers, only silence. When pressed, resistance met force, and silence turned to a desperate escape. The forest stirred as allies gathered. A search party returned with suspicion in their eyes. One concealed the truth, but the question lingered. Why hide him? Trust fractured in silence. Tension escalated. Motives questioned. Loyalty doubted. Words weren't enough, threats replaced reason. If betrayal came, forgiveness wouldn't follow. Trust was fragile, and uncertainty pressed heavily against the path they'd chosen together. Wrapped in her arms, he didn't resist. The pain of the journey melted, yet questions lingered. When another arrived casually, irritation flared. His presence made everything feel uncertain again. He pointed, frustration rising. She defended the newcomer, dismissing the boy's concern. Tension brewed despite the calm. The chapter ended not in relief, but in unresolved emotion and clashing priorities. The boy rested quietly, wrapped in the tiger's tail. The woman watched him, sensing something had changed. Her companion questioned her decision, but her silent stare held firm and unwavering. She explained their bond, predator and hunter, ground and sky. Their teamwork wasn't about dominance but survival. He listened, amused and impressed, imagining what flying beside them might feel like. They laughed gently at the joke, both knowing wings wouldn't sprout. As he held her hand, their eyes met. In that still moment, something quiet and lasting began to grow. The boy lay resting, entangled in the tiger's tail, while the others watched in silence. One questioned the situation. The woman remained firm. Her answer silenced doubt, holding quiet resolve. She explained their method, sky and land working as one. The boy, though small, played a role in survival. The newcomer, amused, imagined flight, unaware of the bond beneath cooperation. Joking about eating birds to grow wings, he reached forward. She giggled, momentarily relaxed. But when his hand rested on hers, she turned cautious, unsure if intentions remained purely friendly. The dragon child lay wrapped in the tiger's tail, silent but safe. She crouched beside him, unsure. The calm was unusual, and the air felt heavier than before. They spoke near the fire, discussing strategy. She explained their teamwork, sky and ground in harmony. He listened, eager, wondering if he too could fly someday. Their bond deepened, quietly. Playful thoughts turned to warmth. He joked, she smiled. Fingers brushed. Then, suddenly, their hands held still, tension melted. A shared glance said more than words ever could. Something changed between them. Hakure confronted the young boy, silently questioning his presence. Their eyes met, tension building. Without a word, she pulled him close, holding him tightly, as if anchoring something fragile and fleeting. Resting against her, the boy explained his unexpected journey. Another figure appeared, interrupting their moment. Startled, the boy demanded answers, pointing accusingly. Confusion and tension sparked between the odd trio again. Lying quietly, he stared at the sky, her tail protectively wrapped around him. The stranger questioned her motives. She replied with certainty he was not food, he was her hunting partner. Hakure held on tightly as the dragon soared through the night. Oga called out, chasing after them. The dragon ignored him, speeding past clouds, determined to leave everything behind. Hakure adjusted herself on the dragon's back. The wind pulled her cloak, but she sat firm, focused. With every beat of the dragon's wings, she grew further from the ground. Above the clouds, she finally looked forward. The land below faded. She didn't look back. Riding through moonlight, Hakure moved ahead, not knowing where they were going, but choosing to go. The tiger lashed out unexpectedly, leaving the boy stunned and hurt. Confused, he backed away, unsure what went wrong. The tiger, glaring fiercely, warned him to stay away without explanation. The boy sat quietly, his tail curled beneath him. Hunger gnawed, but he spoke no complaint. The tiger cautiously approached, conflicted. Another person arrived, surprised to find the boy grounded. The new arrival questioned the boy's condition. Tensions flared as blame shifted to Hakure. Arguments rose, past missteps surfaced. The dragon boy, calm yet defiant, defended her with unwavering certainty. Hakure reveals her name, confusing the boy. Suspicious, he questions her judgment, concerned she trusts strangers too easily. Oga's cheerfulness contrasts the tension, leaving everyone in a moment of awkward silence. Unable to untie the tight ropes, Hakure tries to help, but the knots resist. The boy winces from the strain. Oga suggests claws, prompting another attempt. Finally the ropes start to tear. Freed from the binds, the boy stands tall beside the tiger. He calmly instructs it to remove the last tie. With a swift motion, it slices cleanly. The tail unfurls, alive. Tora arrived late, cloaked and weary. The dragon above loomed in silence, hungry and impatient. Cold wind swept the plain. Tora hesitated, knowing the consequences of failure weighed heavily tonight. The dragon coiled closer, her presence pressing against him. She offered a cruel trade, her blood for his leg. Tora's breath caught survival meant sacrifice. Options dwindled in frozen silence. Desperation overtook pride as Tora stepped forward. His request, urgent, met only stillness. The dragon's gaze sharpened. He had come empty-handed, and mercy was never granted without something in return. The dragon rose into the sky, leaving the boy behind. He stood motionless, breath shallow, heart racing. Mountains surrounded him like silent witnesses. Then, with resolve, he lifted his head. He stepped forward, offering himself in exchange. A quiet submission. The dragon turned, amused. From behind, another figure lowered their head, trembling. Tension grew. All waited for judgment to fall. The dragon bit her own hand, calmly. A drop of blood formed. He watched, unblinking. She reached out. He opened his mouth. It was time. Mercy finally would be tested. She knelt, receiving the drop of dragon blood without hesitation. Heat surged through her veins. Her breath caught. Pain faded. Strength slowly returned. Gratitude lingered unspoken between predator and prey. He followed her direction, uncertain. Her tail moved swiftly, then struck. The blow landed hard. His breath fled his chest. Shock and fear bloomed, but she only smiled with satisfaction. Laughter erupted. His mind reeled. Her tone changed again, teasing, arrogant, dangerous. Power hung between them like mist. Without her, survival was fiction. He swallowed hard, bound now by blood and mercy. She smiled, sharp and pleased, watching them closely. They stared back, uncertain but compliant. Her amusement masked control. One reached out hesitant, respectful. The power balance had shifted, yet endured. They spoke of risk, of loyalty, of concern. The dragon's shadow hovered above, protective yet indifferent. She walked away light-heartedly, leaving those beneath wondering who truly held control now. Far away, another tiger watched over him gently, as if he were family. Still, the dragon remained restless. She chose to move curious, confident. What followed would be her own design. They pledged with quiet conviction. One masked fear with a smile, the other folded into thought. A tear slipped unnoticed. The wind answered softly as he buried his face again. Reunited on quiet soil, their bond felt unshaken. One praised, the other deflected, but warmth lingered. Laughter came easy now. Their past hunts remained etched in shared scars and honest rivalry. The young one called out, eyes bright with discovery. The others gathered, their gazes falling upon the lifeless form. A dragon child, still and untouched. Mystery lingered, thick with legend. They debated over myths, dismissing danger with ease. Temptation outweighed caution. Below, claws pierced soft flesh. Despite unease, the taste of dragon lingered. Curiosity, once fed, had begun to turn. Night fell. Pain crept in. Their bodies betrayed them. Strange marks surfaced without warning. Breathing grew heavy. They questioned the cause, but none had answers. Something foreign pulsed under their skin. Revelation struck. Dragon flesh had been consumed. Silence followed. Then fear. Above them she hovered aloof and amused. What had been done couldn't be undone. The price had just begun. The truth was merciless. Under a full moon, dragon poison awakened within their blood. She declared their fate coldly. One coughed violently. Another begged. The sky offered no comfort now. Guilt drove him forward. The dragon watched, amused yet willing. He offered his life in exchange. His voice trembled, but his intent was clear. A plea became a sacrifice. The dragon descended. Sharp teeth accepted the offer without hesitation. Pain flared. Cries rang out. One screamed his brother's name, but it was too late. Blood had sealed the choice. Feathers fell like quiet echoes of sacrifice. The dragon flew, expression unreadable. Below, the siblings clung to each other, exhausted, uncertain. And yet, above them, she prepared for what came next. Claimed, not freed. Their fate now tied to hers. Her smile beamed beneath the full moon, playful yet cruel. They watched, knowing everything had changed, yet powerless to change anything back. Tension fractured the silence. One saw cruelty, the other survival. Bitterness spilled from wounded pride. Words sharpened, emotions flared. Beneath it all, a question hung. What did it mean to belong? He looked skyward, searching for peace, but the truth settled like stone in his chest. Bound by blood, fate, and power, they had been chosen. Or perhaps simply cursed forever. In the quiet forest, the dragon rested by the stream. Beside him, the woman watched over their peace. Nature surrounded them, calm and unbroken, but something unseen stirred nearby. The tiger approached with silent steps drawn by curiosity. Its paw reached the dragon's mane, gentle at first, then sharp. A scratch, a pull, a fang loosened, falling unexpectedly to earth. The dragon recoiled in shock. The tiger stared at the fallen fang. The woman knelt, regret in her eyes. She hadn't meant harm, but now something precious was lost. The dragon revealed the truth. It was only aged scales. The woman, confused, watched pieces fall. She picked one up carefully, realizing it was not damage but something shared in trust. She studied the scale, holding it with quiet care. It was a part of him, yet offered freely. Another small truth about him, unexpected. Her feelings slowly began to shift. Raising the scale to the light, she admired its glow. So pretty, she thought. Then, silently, she returned it gently. He said nothing, but his gaze lingered, softened by her touch. She reached out again, but the dragon flinched. That spot still hurt, still healing. Her concern deepened. From the trees, another figure watched quietly, judging the bond growing between them. He turned away, dissatisfaction on his face. "This won't do," he muttered, leaving silently. Behind him, the woman stood still, unaware of his thoughts, holding a truth the dragon shared. The boy and tiger entered the cave cautiously. Darkness stretched beyond sight. Bats whispered tales of something ancient. He asked about the long-lived creature. No answers came, only echoes in stone. The path twisted deeper. Strange holes lined the walls. They paused to rest. The tiger curled beside him, purring softly. Calm settled briefly, but both sensed something unseen was near. A noise broke the quiet. The tiger tensed, eyes fixed. From the dark, something stirred. The boy climbed up, ready. Before them, an enormous face emerged, ancient, still, and watching. They stood before the massive creature. Its presence was silent but commanding. The boy observed it carefully. This was the one he sought, a being older than the cavern itself. He stepped forward, cautious but curious. The tiger growled softly, alert. The boy asked the question, hoping for clarity. The creature's gaze lingered, heavy with time, but no answer came. The boy spoke again, hopeful for guidance. The creature blinked slowly, unmoved. Patience wore thin. The boy warned to keep distance. Then, finally, words came soft, slow, and surprisingly sharp. The tiger growled, sensing unease. The boy dismissed it calmly. The elder creature spoke slowly, its words cryptic. Fruit or grass, it said, didn't matter. Motives weighed heavier than diets. Seated before the tortoise, they listened. Lifespan, it said, was not easily changed. A shift in nature meant a shift in the world. The boy's patience thinned. He demanded truth. The tortoise watched the bats return. A gentle exchange passed between them, familiar and quiet. The boy asked again. The elder finally answered. This place was for rest, not answers. She asked directly, did he intend to pair with the tiger? The boy hesitated, questioning the point of extending a life divided by species. The elder creature waited, quietly observing. He admitted uncertainty. Yet, he believed in meaning beyond logic. The tortoise challenged their thoughts. He countered. Even without understanding, some actions felt right. The elf girl listened, momentarily quieted. The tortoise gave no answers, only motion. From the shadows, a cloaked elder stepped forward. Staff in hand, eyes calm, he spoke simply, "Follow me." And so, a new path opened. The old guide led them through the winding cave. The boy grew restless, urging him on. Then he stopped, eyes widening not from impatience, but from the sight ahead. Before them lay the bones of a dragon, massive, still, and silent. Light filtered down from above. The boy stared, breath caught. This was the truth buried beneath their questions. They found more remains, bones stretched across the grass. The boy questioned their presence. The woman spotted another corpse nearby. Silence hung between them. Something about this place felt far older than expected. The elder identified the bones, a wolf and a dragon. The pair had once come here together. Long ago they arrived seeking something. A quiet bond had led them here. The dragon once asked if the wolf's life could be extended. The wolf was tired but content. He lay down slowly, at peace. This place, he said, was enough. The dragon begged for answers. He couldn't rest. The wolf lay quietly, body worn. The elder questioned his reason. The dragon's silence revealed more than words, something deeper than protection alone. He remembered their time together. She aged while he remained the same. Helplessness grew each year. He tried to accept it, but watching her slow down left him feeling powerless. The wolf stirred, her voice steady. She saw him lost in what couldn't be. She stood and changed older, fragile. Her question cut through everything. Did he reject her now? He held her hand, gently. Age changed her body, not her place beside him. In the end, love remained unchanged. He pulled her close, without hesitation, and stayed with her. She passed in silence. Rain fell across the mountain. The dragon looked up, grief unspoken. Even after years together, it still felt too brief. Nothing had prepared him for goodbye. He asked to stay. The elder agreed. Flowers bloomed beside her resting place. The dragon curled next to her once more. Time stopped. For now, he had nowhere else to go. The dragon remained near the elder, guarding the resting place. A skull, now quiet, marked the past. But a threat crept from the trees, eyes watching. Fangs ready to strike again. Blood marked the grass. The dragon returned, battered and torn. The elder asked nothing more. His silence spoke of pain, not defeat. He walked on, past bones, past grief, toward stillness. He collapsed beside her remains. His strength faded with hers. He whispered truth. He couldn't last without her. Yet in her memory, he laughed, knowing she'd tease him for crying. As the sun set, the dragon's body rested beside her remains. Observers questioned his devotion, but one youth knew. It wasn't madness, it was memory, too deep to abandon now. She watched him speak less, more and more. The monk explained, dragons live long, but care deeply. Bonds grew strong over time. Her gaze softened, understanding that the dragon once loved truly. They stood in silence. None could explain the connection, only feel it. The wolf, though gone, had lived joyfully. Curled in death, she smiled, still embraced by the dragon's lingering warmth. He stood beneath the fading light, questioning choices not his own. While others mourned quietly, he searched for reasons. Bonds formed with beasts confused him, yet something inside stirred curiosity, not contempt. She spoke gently of connections, watching the dragon's descent into attachment. He listened, unsure, but affected. Though different, they shared something. The slow, inescapable gravity of kinship, something deeper than survival. They reflected on the wolf's happiness, unspoken but evident. He didn't understand everything, but knew the wolf died fulfilled. Somewhere in that stillness, he realized, understanding might not be necessary. As they walked together, the boy's tail gently coiled around her waist. He didn't notice it, but she did. The feeling stirred something unfamiliar. Neither knew what to say. He admitted he wanted it that way. She hesitated, sensing honesty behind his frustration. Despite the awkwardness, something invisible bound them. They moved forward, not fully understanding their own intentions. They sat beneath the trees, tails entwined. She asked questions he couldn't answer. He only knew it felt right. Dragons show feelings differently, he thought, but his were becoming clear. The herd spotted movement. Instinct kicked in, and one bolted. A young cheetah tried to follow, but fear overtook him. He froze, small paws trembling under the weight of failure. A tiger struck, precise and swift. The gazelle's struggle ended in moments. Watching from the grass, the cheetah's wide eyes glistened not with hunger, but with awe and distant longing. Driven by instinct, the cub approached. The tiger growled, warned him back. Undeterred, he lunged and bit. Strength met defiance. The cub stood his ground, choosing to fight despite fear. A group of gazelles sensed danger and fled as a young cheetah gave chase. But fear overwhelmed the cub. It tripped and fell, startled by its own instinct. A tiger appeared, swiftly killing a gazelle. The cheetah watched in awe and envy. Its eyes sparkled with admiration, not hunger. It wanted more than food, it wanted strength. The cub confronted the tiger, demanding strength for growth. The tiger scolded it. But the cub stood firm, determined. Someday, it vowed, it would become a strong beast too. The herd sensed danger, sprinting as a shadow approached. A cheetah cub charged but stumbled in fear. Alone and trembling, it cried out its first hunt, ending in failure and pain. A tiger appeared, silently bringing down the prey the cub couldn't catch. The cub watched, conflicted, ashamed, yet grateful. As the tiger approached, the cub's eyes glistened with fragile hope. The tiger guarded its kill. The cub stepped forward, baring teeth and growling. A harsh lesson followed, a strike, a bite. It hurt, but the cub refused to back down. The cheetah cub startled the herd, but his pounce failed. He tumbled alone in the grass, breath shallow, instinct stirred, pride wounded, still too small, yet craving his first success. Before fear could root him, the tiger returned with a catch. The cub watched in awe as meat dropped. His failure forgiven, his hunger eased, his desire to grow awakened. Driven by pride, the cub challenged the tiger. Roars and blows followed. Though overpowered, he bit down, trembling. It wasn't hunger, it was yearning to fight, to earn, to become. The young cheetah attempted to stalk prey but was swiftly spotted. A dash startled him, his heart pounded, and panic struck. He flinched, cried out, and stumbled backward in fear. A tiger emerged, catching the prey in a clean strike. The cub watched in awe and confusion. Eyes wide, he crouched low, unsure whether to fear or admire the strength. The tiger approached, eyes locked. The cub stood his ground. Tension sparked. One blow sent him reeling, but he bit back. His courage outshined his size for now. Survival demanded defiance. Muku confronted the tiger, determined to prove his growth. He declared he needed strength, food, and proper training. The tiger questioned him coldly, but saw the seriousness behind Muku's words. Muku met Oga, a strong figure he admired. Oga's presence felt inspiring. Curious and eager, Muku asked how to gain strength, hoping Oga could guide him on his path. Oga smiled and gave simple advice: climb trees and rocks. Muku tried but slipped. Undeterred, he continued. His resolve grew stronger, each fall pulling him closer to the strength he desired. Oga rested with closed eyes as the cheetah approached, curious. The cheetah offered prey, mistaking Oga for a tiger. With a quiet correction, Oga admitted he was not a tiger. The cheetah introduced herself as Muku, full of energy. Eager to become stronger, she begged Oga for guidance. Seeing her determination, Oga agreed, knowing the path ahead would be tough. Oga led Muku to climb a tree, urging her to train her arms. She tried but slipped, frustrated. Still, she watched Oga atop the rock and tried again. The young leopard slipped from the cliff, saved only by the tiger's swift action. Climbing with effort, he reached safety. The tiger, calm yet alert, watched him intently. The cub later found a quiet spot to rest, curling up beside the tiger under the moonlight. But uneasy dreams haunted him, and he wandered away, restless and tense. He confronted the hyenas who once stole their prey and hurt his mother. With defiance, he stood alone. The hyenas mocked him, yet he held his ground, unshaken. The tiger made it clear: no protection, no promises. Still, the young leopard followed, undeterred. Step by step, they walked together. A new path began, fierce and uncertain, but shared. The dragon soars across the sky, tail coiling as it supports the girl. He explains his flight demands strength. Though tired, he keeps holding her, his grip gently beginning to loosen. She splashes into the water, startled. The boy, also swimming, teases her bluntly. The tiger watches silently, steady and calm. Together they cross the river, urgency rising beneath the surface. The tiger leads the way through the current. The boy keeps pace, his eyes watchful. He offers quiet support, ready to help. Dusk approaches. They press forward, united in effort. The tiger swam steadily when suddenly pain struck. A crocodile emerged, jaws crushing down. From above, the boy shouted, panic rising. Without hesitation, the dragon dove beneath the waves toward danger. The crocodile dragged the tiger deeper, blood trailing. The tiger struggled, body twisting in vain. In that moment, the dragon burst through the water, jaws wide, aiming straight for the beast. Fangs clashed. The dragon roared, coiling around the crocodile, ripping it away from the tiger. A fierce struggle ensued, water churning. The tiger drifted, unconscious, as the dragon fought to protect. The dragon lunged through the water, pulling the crocodile back. Hakure, wounded, floated away. The struggle turned vicious, churning the depths into chaos as teeth and tails collided in desperation. Locking jaws, the dragon pierced its enemy's hide. Hakure, clinging on, was flung aside. Blood spread through the water. The dragon rose, clutching the tiger tightly, refusing to surrender. The crocodile twisted violently, biting into the dragon's tail. With a sickening rip, it tore flesh free. The dragon flailed, injured but alive, determined to protect the one it saved. The dragon, exhausted, releases the girl midair. She plunges into the sea, gasping for breath. The boy urges her to swim. A tiger swims nearby, ever watchful and tense. A crocodile ambushes the tiger, dragging it underwater. The dragon dives, roaring. Claws and fangs clash violently beneath the waves, each struggling fiercely for dominance in the deep waters. The dragon emerges with the girl. Bloodied, he defies the crocodile's taunts. Despite wounds and exhaustion, he flies forward, determined to protect her. The horizon draws closer with each beat. The dragon carried the girl through the sky, straining against the weight. Though silent, his limbs ached. With a final sigh, he let go, dropping her gently into the water. She surfaced, gasping, startled. The boy watched from above, already swimming. The tiger joined her. He called out, urging them onward. Behind them, the shoreline seemed closer, but danger loomed unseen. Without warning, the tiger was dragged below. The boy shouted. The dragon dove instantly. Beneath the surface, fangs clashed beast against beast. Bubbles rose. The fight for life had begun violently. The tiger roared as it plunged into the water. The boy called out, watching it disappear beneath the surface. Below, a dragon dove in, reacting to the danger with urgency. Beneath the surface, the tiger was attacked. A massive crocodile clamped onto its body. Blood swirled in the water as the predator tried to pull its prey into the deep. The dragon struck, breaking through the water with a furious roar. It slammed into the crocodile, fighting to pry the tiger loose from its crushing jaws. The water churned violently. The crocodile seized the tiger's leg, spinning violently to break her resistance. Thrown into chaos, the tiger struggled underwater while the dragon surged forward, his eyes sharp, bracing to counterattack. With swift force, the dragon pierced the crocodile's hide and lifted the tiger. Blood surged, jaws snapped, but he gripped tightly, wings beating against the threat, refusing to let go. Tearing free from the jaws, the dragon escaped with the tiger, wounded and gasping. The crocodile lunged once more but failed, watching them vanish into the horizon beyond its reach. Refusing to abandon her, the dragon soared with the elf in his claws. Ignoring the predator's threats, he pressed forward, escaping danger. They finally crash-landed, exhausted, yet alive on distant ground. The boy treated her wounds, silencing her protests with patience. Despite pain and embarrassment, she let him help. Slowly, she realized his devotion ran deeper than duty. Trust began to bloom. She ran through the woods, pointing at animals only she could see. With a wide smile, she hugged the tiger's side, unaware her joy would come with a sharp bite. The boy sat in silence, puzzled by the dreamlike memory. A flying deer, the girl's laughter, and her sudden absence left questions. The tiger purred gently, offering no answers. Resting against the tiger, he confessed a quiet plan. Hunger lingered. He needed to search for food before becoming food. The tiger watched, unmoving, as the wind stirred the silence. She wandered the forest, pointing out animals with childlike wonder. Her excitement grew, naming each creature aloud. Hugging the tiger, she felt safe until it playfully bit his arm. He awoke from the bite, unsure if it was real or imagined. A tiger purred beside him, peaceful. Confused, he recalled the dream of a flying deer. Lying against the tiger's side, he sighed. They hadn't eaten. He whispered about finding food before being eaten himself, knowing they both relied on each other to keep going. She excitedly named each animal in the sky, her imagination vivid. Embracing the beast, she smiled warmly. But the tiger, irritated by her grip, bit him gently in warning. He stirred awake, puzzled by his dream. A deer had flown past, or so he thought. The tiger purred, curling protectively. Still, hunger lingered between them both. Lying against the tiger, he sighed. He needed to search for food before she acted on instinct. As she listened silently, he prepared to leave for their survival. She pointed at animals in the sky, amused, a rabbit, a deer, even a pig. Then, suddenly, without warning, the tiger bit his arm. She hugged the tiger, still smiling. The boy sat, dazed by what he had seen. A deer flying? Perhaps a dream. The tiger purred beside him, calm and watchful, while the dragon's tail curled quietly nearby. He apologized, unsure of what stirred within him. The tiger asked gently. The boy answered with honesty he needed to find something before he became a meal. Hunger lingered in silence. She spotted animals in the stars, guessing wildly. The tiger watched quietly, unimpressed. Suddenly it bit her arm in warning. She only smiled and leaned in to hug him tighter. The boy awoke, dazed, recalling the deer's flight. A tiger lay beside him, purring calmly. Was it a dream, or had something truly strange passed through the skies? Nestled against the tiger, the boy hesitated. He needed to search for food, though danger waited outside. Stroking the tiger's fur, he whispered a promise and stood to leave. The dragon glided silently through the clouds, sharp eyes scanning the forest below. It spotted a herd of deer and descended swiftly. With a sudden dive, it disrupted the peaceful glade. Startled, the deer fled into the trees. The dragon hovered low but hesitated. It landed gently, talons sinking into the grass. Quietly, it watched their retreat, unsure of its next move. Later, by a river, it tried catching fish, but failed. A crocodile burst forth. The dragon leapt away just in time. Shaken, it drifted skyward, caution returning to its heart. Exhausted but relieved, they sat beside their kill. The boy laughed, belly full, while the tiger stared ahead. The hunt had ended. Their bond, though strained by instinct, remained intact. The tiger struggled up the slope, body still frail from the past fight. The boy insisted they keep moving. Rest was tempting, but strength wouldn't return without effort. The boy warned the tiger he wouldn't be its caretaker forever. Once healed, the tiger must reclaim independence. When he turned to leave, the tiger stirred, quietly following. Cold winds swept the path ahead. The boy frowned, not ready for the shift. She offered warmth beside him, but he refused, eyes fixed on a distant resolve. They walked across the grassland. The woman carried the boy gently, conserving his strength. The tiger followed. 2 mountains awaited them, as instructed. Time was short, and the wind warned them. Without warning, a giant bird swooped from the sky, aiming for the boy. The woman braced to defend. Both tiger and boy stood stunned. The bird vanished beyond the cliffs. The tiger roared, chasing the bird. The boy stood still, confused. Then, a stranger appeared behind him. A hand reached out silently, unknown intentions cloaked in sudden stillness and tension. The boy stood stunned, as a stranger wrapped him in a sudden grip. Her presence was bold, calm, and unfamiliar. She simply whispered that their meeting was long overdue. Without warning, the dragon emerged in fury, baring fangs and roaring at the girl. Unshaken, she readied herself, her snake-like tail tightening. Tension filled the air before the clash. The dragon soared high, spiraling through clouds. The girl laughed, mocking his threat, her eyes glinting with defiance. The battle hadn't begun in earnest, but she had already won. The tiger collapsed halfway up the cliff. The boy waited, then urged it to push further. Training wasn't kind, but survival depended on strength. He wouldn't let it slack. The boy stepped away coldly. The tiger watched him with narrowed eyes, but didn't move. Wind stirred. He turned back once, unsure, then walked. The tiger rose and followed. They crossed plains under sharp winds. She offered warmth, but he refused. Goals lay beyond mountains. With the tiger behind, the boy pressed forward, ignoring his chilled hands and doubts. The boy declared his loyalty to the tigress, stepping forward with fierce resolve. He would not be lured away, no matter the promise. The dragon woman watched, amused. The boy insisted it was his choice, not manipulation. The dragon's claim of instinct was dismissed. His bond with the tigress was clear, chosen freely, defended with conviction. As dragons clashed above, the truth unfolded. Strong females fought for mates. The boy, still uncertain, stood between instinct and will. The tigress remained silent, yet always close. The boy rested in her arms, safe yet wary. 2 mountains awaited them, promised by a talking turtle. Urgency stirred. Overhead, a shadow passed, an omen of trouble ahead. A giant eagle dived swiftly. The boy dodged, startled. The woman turned sharply, alarmed. Danger struck from above. A fierce tiger leapt beside the boy, ready to defend instinctively. The dragon child hovered, then grabbed the boy gently. She smiled, speaking calmly. Their first meeting. He flinched, uncertain. A clash of instincts and purpose was about to unfold. The dragon approached silently, wrapping himself around the boy. For the first time, they stood face to face, their fates intertwined. The boy flinched, unsure whether to trust or run. From the sky, the dragon descended near a vast plain. With narrowed eyes, he confronted the tiger. The tigress growled defiantly, ready to strike. The boy watched, heart pounding with uncertainty. The dragon mocked her hiss, laughing loudly. His roar echoed, shaking clouds above. But the tigress remained composed. The dragon launched into the sky, angered, while she calmly observed him go. The woman descended with purpose, offering guidance. Her presence felt familiar yet overwhelming. She extended her hand, promising knowledge. The boy hesitated, torn between curiosity and the bond he already knew. As the tiger growled, the boy stayed close, choosing loyalty. He placed his hand on her fur, rejecting the offer. The woman turned away, but tension stirred beneath calm eyes. Kenku followed his mother through the mountains, her gentle smile hiding silent strength. Though beside her now, unease stirred within him. He remembered someone else, someone whose presence had felt different. She offered food and comfort, but he refused. Hunger wasn't the issue. The silence between them grew heavier. He stared ahead, distant and still. Her cheer could not reach him. She weaved grass into a simple charm, crafting it with care. Turning, she offered it with a smile. He watched, expression unreadable, unsure how to accept something made with warmth. The boy stayed silent beside her. Mountains surrounded them, sharp and tall. She smiled softly, speaking as if nothing had changed. He only looked forward, his thoughts guarded and heavy. She offered food, prey gathered carefully. He didn't move. She asked again, cheerful. He still said nothing. Later, she wove a small charm from grass, handing it to him. She explained the grass ball's use in dragonplay. Demonstrating with ease, she spun and kicked, hoping to stir emotion. He joined briefly but remained distant. Something unsettled him deeply. Hekidu declared the tigress must die, driven by fear and instinct. Others agreed, but his words struck the dragon girl. She watched, hurt, as he distanced himself from her concern. They sat together, silent. Hekido's words cut deep, calling her the monster who once tried to eat him. Her tail curled around, unsure whether to comfort or retreat from him. Tears welled as she denied the accusation. She explained how she searched endlessly for him. She recalled returning to the empty nest. Hekidu, still guarded, listened with hesitant eyes. Kokuran faced Hekidu's anger as the others debated. His words cut deep, denying her importance. Still, she stood firm, unsure how to reach the boy she once called son. Hekidu revealed his painful memory attacked at birth, fleeing alone. Doubts filled his voice. How could he believe her? Her silence trembled with truths unspoken, burdened by years of searching. She named his features, eyes, and horns proof of lineage. Wrapping him in a quiet embrace, she acknowledged his fear. Slowly, his walls lowered. For the first time, he listened. The dragon girl smiled warmly, her eyes meeting the boy's uncertain gaze. For the first time, he felt seen. Hope stirred quietly beneath the pain he carried for years. She reached for his hand, firm with conviction. Together, she said, voice steady, we'll restore our kind. He hesitated, unsure of her intent, but gripped her hand regardless. Her words stunned him. The boy froze, mind racing. She leaned close, speaking gently, not understanding her deeper meaning. He only saw trust raw and strange in her dragon eyes. Shinsui explains dragon cubs play with floating grass balls to practice flight. Hekidu watches, silently mimicking the motion, unsure whether he's learning or remembering. The simple game ties them together. As Shinsui calls him Hekidu, the boy hesitates. She offers a new name, one that fits better. His silence reveals unease, but her confidence doesn't waver. She's naming him family. Kokuran confronts Hekidu, accusing him of disrespecting Shinsui. Shinsui deflects the blame. Hekidu sits apart, confused by kindness. Kokuran watches, puzzled by rejection, unused to resistance from the opposite sex. The dragon boy rejected her plea, anger and confusion rising. He didn't care about clans or duty. All he wanted was to protect the tigress from threats he barely understood. As she shifted into a monstrous dragon, fury overtook her. She lashed out, demanding obedience. Their bodies clashed, mid-air instinct battling defiance. Ancient power trying to force submission through dominance. Pinned beneath her claws, the boy resisted. She hissed, warning him, but his eyes held fire. Even crushed and trembling, he refused to yield to fear or the chains of bloodline. He remembered the moment he was born, fleeing, frightened, from the jaws of a dragon. Now he sat across one, unsure. A question rose. Could this be his mother? She affirmed it, pointing to his horns, his eyes traits inherited from a father he never knew. Then gently, unexpectedly, she embraced him, recognizing the fear he had hidden inside. In her arms he felt warmth not known for years. He listened quietly as she spoke of loneliness. For the first time he realized he wasn't the only one lost. The girl staggered against the tree, sweat beading her face. A witness explained it: dragon poison, spreading slowly. On full moons it surges, collecting in the heart. The boy listened, concerned. She mocked the ignorance of others, revealing how even a drop of dragon blood ensures loyalty. Gently touching the girl's chin, she smiled. The poisoned were obedient, these two already infected. The boy questioned the future. Could the poison be cured? The winged girl, pained, admitted dependence on dragons. No one knew a solution. The other girl joked, remove the heart instead. Under the pale moonlight, a harpy girl trembled, dragon poison coursing silently through her veins. The full moon neared. As they watched, the others spoke of venom, obedience, and silent hearts. She listened, barely flinching as the dragonkin's finger lifted her chin. Poison worked subtly, submission wasn't immediate. Once infected, resistance faded. But she and her kin still clung to dignity. Despite weakness, her will endured. She asked about a cure. No answers came, just a cold suggestion: remove the heart. Still, the boy watched quietly, caught between care and cruel logic. She struggled against the tree, dragon poison coursing through her veins. The full moon rose. Others watched, explaining how the venom spread slowly, anchoring itself deep within her trembling heart. The poison didn't kill, but enslaved. A drop of dragon blood subdued her completely. She was examined like an object, her resistance mocked. Yet something fierce stirred silently inside her. Faced with dependency and uncertainty, she whispered resolve. Her sister stood beside her again. They embraced, fragile but defiant. Together, they walked forward, bound by pain but not yet broken. Chiron stood tall, heart steeled by duty. She vowed to replace her older brother. With determination, she commanded the eagle to strike. The prey, unaware, grazed peacefully below. The eagle swooped fiercely, dodging horns and striking swift. Panic rose among the herd as hooves scattered dust. Locked on its target, the beast resisted until finally it collapsed, overwhelmed. Breathless and triumphant, Chiron approached the fallen prey. Her resolve was proven. A smile greeted her recognition earned. She had succeeded. No longer behind, she stood proudly on her own. The poison spread through her veins under the full moon. She clutched the tree, struggling. They watched, analyzing the symptoms. Her heart was the core, holding the infection inside. Bound by dragon blood, her will began to falter. With a gentle hand and mocking smile, the other manipulated her weakness. Obedience followed not by force, but manipulation. Though dependent on dragons, she questioned escape. The boy remained silent, calculating. She found resolve. If her heart must be cut out to survive, so be it. The dragon left with confidence, leaving the hunt in their hands. Kokuran stood watch, trusting them. Misumi waited below, quiet and thoughtful. A challenge hung in the air, unspoken. Determined to prove herself, Kokuran led the hunt. She aimed higher than before, targeting beasts too large. Doubt turned to grit. With every strike she pushed the limits of fear. Exhausted but triumphant, Kokuran collapsed beside the prey. Praise came with hidden intent. A test was only beginning. Misumi watched, knowing the next trial would demand even greater resolve. The dragon departed for the hunt, leaving the girl behind. She stood silent, cloaked in resolve. Nearby the boy waited under the tree, unaware of the silent promise forming. She recalled past failures, her sister's cold challenge. Determined, she led the eagle in a daring strike. Claws met flesh, victory hard won. Breathless, she proved her strength through action. Though scarred and trembling, she smiled. Her lie protected her brother. In the end, she stood firm, misunderstood but unbroken. With pride, she declared, Misumi had caught the prey. Misumi volunteered in her brother's stead, her eyes firm with resolve. Overhead, the eagle spotted prey. With powerful wings, it struck the mountain goat, dragging it down amidst startled cries. The goat retaliated, kicking wildly, but the eagle clawed its horns. Misumi watched, tense. With a final screech, the beast fell, and the eagle rose victorious, gripping it tightly. Landing at Misumi's feet, the eagle dropped the catch. She stood panting, victorious. Another girl appeared, observing her. Impressed, she acknowledged Misumi's effort, hinting at deeper tests to come. The boy sat alone beneath the tree, his eyes sharp. He asked about Misumi. With quiet defiance, she answered she had eaten him. The fragile balance between dragon and eagle shifted. The tiger called into the mountains, awaiting an answer that never came. Silence followed each roar. Unease stirred within him as the forest grew still, hiding something beyond the trees. A second tiger burst forth, claws ready, eyes wild. Without warning or words, the attack came. Confusion filled the first tiger's face, his guard too slow for the sudden leap. Their roars clashed in fury as claws tore the air. One fought for answers, the other for dominance. Rage met hesitation, and the mountain echoed with the sound of betrayal. The tiger roared into the mountain air, calling out for Hekido. Silence answered. Then, a rustle nearby. Sensing danger, the tiger turned, heart racing, bracing for an unknown presence. From the rocks leapt another tiger, claws out, fury blazing. They clashed violently, claws and teeth slicing the air. One defended its ground, the other carried pain behind every strike. This is my territory, the first tiger declared, striking hard. But the other stepped back, refusing the fight. She wasn't a challenger, only a seeker. She'd been looking for someone lost. A tiger roared across the cliffs, searching for Hekido. The wind carried silence, then rustling leaves. Another tiger appeared, eyes locked. Tension rose. He prepared for what was coming. The tiger leapt without hesitation, claws wide. They collided in a flurry of growls and swipes. Dust rose. Dominance was at stake. Both refused to yield, instincts taking control. One tiger roared his claim of territory. The other retreated, not to challenge but to search. Further down the valley, a woman waited. She had been looking for someone. The young man apologized, his voice steady. She stood tall, silent but attentive. His sincerity reached her. Two wounded hearts paused in understanding, unsure of what lay ahead on this path. Night fell quietly. The boy tended his wounds in silence. Nearby, tigers walked beside him, neither foes nor friends. He washed the day away, bracing for tomorrow's truth under the stars. Under starlight, he asked about dragons. She shared her dream, living longer with the dragon. He listened, realizing her longing, not for glory or power, but a future beyond fleeting years. The white tiger stood atop the cliff, roaring into the wind. Hearing no reply, it sensed something wrong. He turned, ears twitching. A rustle came. Another tiger approached, silent and alert. Without warning, the second tiger lunged. Claws flashed, roars collided. Shock widened the first tiger's eyes. He hadn't expected hostility. the attacker pressed forward, ferocious, seeking to dominate through raw force. They clashed in a brutal dance of strength and pride. Paws swiped, teeth snapped, neither backed down. Amid the chaos, something deeper stirred, an unspoken challenge beyond instinct. A rivalry awakened. The dominant tiger lunged, defending its territory with force, muscles tensed, claws unsheathed. It met the challenger head-on. Dust and echoes filled the canyon where strength ruled over diplomacy or reason. In a distant gorge, the tigress kneeled, worn and searching. She wasn't hunting prey, only answers. The tiger arrived late, realizing the misunderstanding. What began as tension faded into clarity.